Good morning, students. Welcome back to PNMRC e-learning classes. Students, today we are going to start part 5 of chapter number 11, Force and Pressure. Students, in our previous video, we have studied about non-contact forces. In this video, we will learn about pressure. So let's start this video with the topic pressure. Now what is pressure? I will explain you. Pressure is produced when a force acts on an object. In most cases, an object exerts force on another object by making contact with it or by touching it. We will now describe how the effect of force applied by one object on another object depends on area of contact between the two objects. This will give us the definition of pressure. This point will become more clear from the following examples. If we push hard on a piece of wood with our thumb, the thumb does not go into the wood. But if we put a drawing pin into the wood with the same force of our thumb, the drawing pin goes into the wood. These observations can be explained as follows. Our thumb does not go into the wood because the force of thumb is falling on a large area of the wood, due to which the force per unit area or pressure on the wood is small. Now I will explain you why drawing pin go into the wood and why thumb does not penetrate into the wood. The drawing pins go into the wood because due to the sharp tip of the drawing pin, the force of thumb is falling on a very small area of the wood, due to which the force per unit area or pressure on the wood becomes very large. It is clear from this example that pressure is the force acting on a unit area of the object, and here the object is wood. The force of thumb produces small pressure when it acts on a large area of wood, but the same force of thumb produces much greater pressure when it acts on a very small area of wood through the tip of drawing pin. Thus, the effect of a force depends on the area of the object on which it acts. We will define pressure as follows. Pressure is the force acting on a unit area of the object. So the formula for calculating pressure is force upon area. Again, pressure is equal to force upon area. We will now give the units in which pressure is measured. The SI unit means standard unit of measuring force is Newton, that is N, and the SI unit of measuring area is square meter, that is m square. Therefore, the SI unit of measuring pressure is Newton per square meter, in bracket capital N, per square meter, which is also called as Pascal, that is PA. From the above discussion, we conclude that the pressure depends on two factors. This is very important, students. You must listen to me very carefully. So, pressure depends on two factors. First one is force applied and second one is area over which force acts. The same force can produce different pressures depending on the area over which it acts. For example, when a force acts over a large area of an object, it produces a small pressure. But if the same force acts over a small area of the object, it produces a large pressure. Now students, I will give you answers of some question that arises in your mind, that why school bags have white straps. So the answer to this question is, a school bag or a shoulder bag that you carry in school has white strap made of thick cloth. That cloth may be canvas, so that the weight of bag may fall over a large area of the shoulder of the child, producing less pressure on the shoulder. And due to less pressure, it is more comfortable to carry the heavy school bag. On the other hand, if the school bag has a strap made of thin string, then the weight of school bag will fall over a small area of the shoulder. This will produce a large pressure on the shoulder of the child, and it will become very painful to carry the heavy school bag. Similarly, a person employed to carry heavy luggage or other loads is called a porter. We see many porters at a railway station. Porters place a thick round piece of cloth on their head when they have to carry heavy loads like heavy suitcases, etc., of passengers. By placing the thick round piece of cloth, the porters increase the area of contact of the load with their head. Since the load now falls on a large area of head, the pressure on head is reduced and it becomes easier to carry the heavy load. Another question that may arise in your mind is, why a sharp knife cuts better than a blunt knife? A sharp knife has a very thin edge to its blade, as you can see in the picture. A sharp knife cuts objects like vegetables better because due to its very thin edge, the force of our hand falls over a very small area of the object, producing a large pressure. And this large pressure cuts the object easily. On the other hand, a blunt knife has a thicker edge. A blunt knife does not cut an object easily because due to its thicker edge, like butter knife. The force of our hand falls over a large area of the object and produces lesser pressure. This lesser pressure cuts the object very difficultly. A razor blade has a sharp edge so that it may produce a large pressure to cut things easily. An axe has also a sharp edge to cut things like a log of wood easily. I end my video here only, students. Thank you so much for listening me. So we will meet again tomorrow with the next topics, some interesting topics of this chapter, that is force and pressure. Up till then, goodbye and stay safe.